Hey guys, so this is part 3. I already went over this stuff in part 2, but I'm just going to quickly go over it. So, qualitative data is not quality, it's descriptions and observations. Quantitative data, however, is number data. Data that you could put into numbers, into graphs, into charts, stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the section Selecting Equipment and Technology. Scientists collect and analyze data using tools that range from simple meter sticks to complex hardware that measures leaf nitrogen content. Data are often gathered directly by hardware controlled by computers running software that organizes and analyzes results. Statistical it's early. It's too early for this. Analysis. I'm gonna crush out. Help determine if experimental treatment is significantly different from controls. Sources of error. Researchers must avoid errors in data collection and analysis. Tools to measure the size and mass of marsh grasses, for example, have limited accuracy. Data analysis and sample size must be chosen carefully. The larger the sample size, the more reliability researchers can analyze variation within each group and evaluate differences between experimentals and controls. Interpreting data and drawing conclusions. Data analysis may lead to conclusions that support or refute hypotheses being tested. Often, new data indicate that a hypothesis is on the right track, but is off base about a few details. New questions lead to new and revised hypotheses, which are tested with new experiments that involve better controls. Sorry about the noise. I live really close to an airport. Did I already say that? I don't know, whatever. New questions lead to new revised hypotheses, which are often tested with new experiments that involve better control of variables or other changes in experimental design. Basically, what it's saying right here is, they need to be really detailed about how they collect that data. They need to get precise data. They need to get proper data. So they use really advanced tools. They test a lot to get the best data that they possibly can, the best measurements that they possibly can. Now, when experiments aren't possible, not all hypotheses can be tested by experiments. Animal behavior researchers, for example, might propose hypotheses about how groups of animals interact in nature. These hypotheses are tested by fields of observation designed to disturb natural behavior as little as possible. Analysis of data from these observations may lead to new hypotheses that can be tested in different ways. If inventions suggest, for example, that members of a group are related to one another, genetic tests can gather data that support or reject that hypothesis. Sometimes ethics prevent certain types of experiments. For example, in medical research, when a chemical is suspected to cause cancer, researchers do not purposely expose volunteers to chemical. They study people who have already been exposed using those who have not as the control group. So basically what it's saying here is when you can't really experiment that hypothesis, you need to observe, and that's how you're going to collect that data. And